Welcome back to Minnie and Moa and Friday's DIY. So today I'm going to show you how I make a tiny little box of spring. If I could, I'd send one of these to everybody in America who's having really bad weather at the minute. So I decided to use the box on the left, the slightly bigger one, and then I decided to cover it with paper from my little bird book. So this paper is all about birds, obviously, so I thought that would be a nice little spring touch. So I haven't gone with the image pages, I've just gone with the text pages. So I just pulled those pages out and then just used, got some PVA glue, which is just ideal for paper. And then I just covered the paper and then just literally wrapped it all around this part of the box. So I just put some paper on to protect my table. Although I do quite like picking the glue off the table, but it's not ideal when we're sitting eating dinner. So I just used this little brush and just covered it with the PVA glue. Just making sure that the corners and the edges are all covered. And then I just wrapped this piece around. So it didn't matter that the writing was a different way, just, you know. If anyone did read the writing on here, the words on here, it would all be something about birds. So I thought that was quite a nice little touch, as opposed to using my music paper on everything. This paper is slightly thicker. The music paper that I've been using on recent projects is really quite thin. And this is not quite as vintage. It's a little bit whiter, but I think it still worked out all right. So then just wrap that round. Sorry, I'm going out of shot a little bit here. And then just made sure that I didn't wrap it around the inside so that when I put the other bit of the box together, it won't stick. So then there was a little bit here at the index. I thought this would be cute to stick on the back since it's always in the back of a book. There's a little bit here about woodpeckers. I'm sure they're on the list here. And yeah, I seen a bird in the garden earlier and I thought it was a new species. It was like red. But by the time I got my camera and worked out, basically it was a woodpecker, but because the fat ball's running out, you could see just its belly through the bird feeder. So I got my camera and I was thinking, I've got to show them this is a new bird on my bird feeder. And then I realised it was a woodpecker, which, I mean, they are amazing, and I love that this woodpecker comes regular now. But yeah, I've got a little clip of that coming up, and then you'll see the little bunnies in the back of the garden as well. So I just popped that on. So this sticks on so well. I think, like I say, I've said before, this PVA, I'm sure it's just like your Mod Podge. So next I covered the other bit of the box. So I just got a piece of paper. I cut out this little image just in case I use that on something, because a nice little image of some bird heads that left us with this shape. So I just cut here, and this ended up just the perfect shape to fit inside the box. I wasn't bothered that the writing was going the other way, because it just didn't matter. It was going to be inside the box as well. So it was acting more like a little bit patterned wallpaper than anything that you would actually you'd be able to read anyway. So I just PVA glued that on and stuck that in. By the way, I'm using my handheld microphone. It's the only one I've had. I've had it ages. It's called Blue Microphone. It's okay, but I really want to buy a microphone that I can attach to my collar. So instead of me making things and then try and remember my thoughts throughout and you know, sounding like I know what I'm talking about, where really I'm making the DIY up as I go along. So sometimes I try and put that across when I'm narrating my video, but I thought it'd be much better to actually do more of like actually recording as I'm doing my DIYs. So I'm hoping to buy one of those microphones soon. So I just continue, because this paper sticks really well, it doesn't peel up, it just sticks on really well. It really makes you feel like you want to do like a really nice little neat job. So I just made sure I covered all of the box, like all of the orange box, so you wouldn't see that. So I've heard the weather apparently over there in America has been really bad, and I've had people saying there's been so much snow, like 8 inches in 24 hours. Oh, we've been so much luckier here. And I'm so pleased because there's so many baby lambs around at the minute. I hate to see the lambs looking cold. So the sun was beating on them today and they were running around. Oh, they look so beautiful. I love lambs. I still haven't done a DIY on anything to do with lambs, but it's in the back of my mind. I just haven't worked out what to do yet. so much easier with the rabbit shape, as obviously you might have guessed. Anyway, this is a rabbit-free DIY. I know you don't mind me rabbit DIYs, but I can't possibly do a DIY. Well, I could. Oh, there's the woodpecker, by the way, just on the bird feeder there. Oh, you might be able to see him, you might not. And there's the little bunnies in the back. I thought this was one bunny, but it's two, like leaning over each other. So they were there for ages, the little bunnies. And the little birds I was going to tell you about, the little swallows or the swifts. There's one there. They've got like a long tail. So they're little migratory birds, and I'm hopefully going to be putting a stamp on my DIY later with one of those little birds, a swallow or a swift. I can never quite remember which one. Now the dog wants to go out. So she runs out. Don't you chase them bunnies. She runs out expecting everything to run off, but the rabbits at the back just don't. She runs out. They would have heard the door open. They would have probably seen her run out. But no, she's just wandering around there, and the little bunnies are just sitting there at the back, and you just see them at the very back there, and they didn't even like flinch. But she still would chase them if she's seeing them. But I think when they're still like that, they really look like stones in the back of the garden. Little madam, I'm going to give her a treat and then get on with my DIY. I didn't really have to leave the matchbox to dry. It dried really quickly. So this is where she shuffles along, as if she doesn't think I realise that she's getting closer to us. Little quick shuffles. And then when she spins, sometimes without me asking her, it's just her way of saying please, because we just taught her that from being a really young age. So she often just spins. There you go. So she always takes her treats to like either next to the coffee table or in the first room, depending on how she feels. And then she doesn't just wolf it down, she eats it like a little lady. She like takes little bits off and chews them, like enjoys them. Just so cute. So we're heading into my kitchen. These twig branches I've had on my display for, I don't know, about 6 weeks now. And they're great because if you need some little twigs to make something, you can just come and just snap them off instead of having to get them from outside and dry them out. So I've just snapped off some little bits. So these are just little bits that I feel like would act as like little miniature bits of tree. So I'm just trying to go for. So I quite like these. Have got like the little buds on, so I quite like that little bit extra detail on them. I do have some other bits off a different twig I've just pulled off, but I think I prefer these with the buds on. Yep. Now these tiny little paper roses, how do people actually make these? Roses so small. So I'm going to be using a few of these, just 3 of these. I do actually have some of these in my shop, if you want to go and check them out. I'll leave a link down below, minnieandmore.com. And then I'm just going to now make a start on putting the tree together. So the idea is I'm going to put some of the little roses on. So this is a bit blue tack that I managed to get off the walls in the house. I haven't taken anything down. There was a few bits that hadn't been taken down. So then I've just pushed, excuse me, a few of the little, one of the little twigs in just to get the height, so I can see work out like what size the other twigs need to be kind of smaller than. So I just adjusted the height there just by snapping a bit of the twig off, and then pushed it in. And then I put the rest of the twigs into the blue tack without putting it in the box, because I kind of knew how far they could go open out, so they wouldn't be in the way when the box gets open and shut. So I just push them in there. Oops, a daisy. And then there was only one thing that was going to keep this in there forever, and it would be glue, hot glue. So I switched the hot glue gun on, and then in the meantime I just pulled apart some of these little paper roses that just wrapped with a little bit paper tape. So I just pulled these into bits, individual bits, and then I just used 3 because I wanted to make this look spring-like as opposed to summer. You know, I didn't want to put too much on. So I just wrapped 3 of the little paper roses around the twig. The great thing about these paper roses, you could just use them again and again. I know I did cut the stems on these, but I have found in the past when I've used them, I've never needed the full length of the stem anyway. So that is just going to go in there. So to make sure you know exactly where it's going to go before you put the hot glue in. So I've just put a dot of hot glue inside the box, and then I've just stood my little twig tree just to the left, as opposed to the centre, and just push it into the hot glue. And then I just use the glue gun to add more glue to the area where the twigs go into the blue tack, just to make sure that all stays solid. I mean, that will never move from there. That will be there forever. And great, it's just so good that this dries so quick. It means I can just get on with the next bit in my project. So that's it there. You can just see it shining the glue in the bottom. So then to hide the glue and just add a little touch of green to this little box, I just got this little piece of my reindeer moss, which is just one of the best things I ever bought, because it just seems to last forever and it stays looking nice, and I just move it from project to project. So then I just use PVA glue, and I just covered the bottom of the box with it, and then over where the actual the hot glue is as well, which is dry enough now. So I just covered the whole bottom to put the moss in. So I love doing little fiddly detailed projects like this. Hence why this video is a little bit longer than usual. I usually try and make my videos about 10 minutes long, because I always feel like people don't want to watch, might not want to watch videos longer than that, but I've decided I've just had to kind of change the structure of the way I've been doing things lately, because I've just been so busy with my Patreon page, and also my shop, which is brilliant, Minnie and More. Everything's doing really well at the minute, and I'm really just having to try and get the balance right. So I'm just going to show you here that off the vintage butterflies, my daughter's been stamping some of the little butterfly little words out onto vintage paper, and then just tearing around them. So then I'm just going to stick one of these in the back. So yeah, my daughter was helping us make my vintage tags all day yesterday. I did pay her. It was just nice to have a day kind of doing crafts with her, because she's 13 now, and you know, those things just don't really happen anymore now unless there's money involved, but that's fine. So I just popped the butterfly sign in the back there. Obviously it would have been easier before the tree went in. So I have these butterflies off my tags, but I felt like they were a bit big. I really want this to be quite a small little project. So this die cut book I got from The Works. I've showed you this before. So The Works is in the UK, and it's just got these cute little butterflies in. I'm just pulling these out. I did bend them at first, because I thought that if I sit them on the branches of the tree, the wings maybe should be up, but then you can't really see the butterflies properly. So then I just opened the wings out flat, and then just I just put 2 of these butterflies in. So I just put a dot of hot glue on each one to attach them in here. So yeah. So like I say, I've just put the glue actually on the butterfly. It was just easier. And then I could just position it where I wanted, just quickly, and then a little bit of pressure on it, just to get it, keep it in place. Oh, butterflies. One day I'll tell you about the butterfly farm that my dad had. Oh, right, this little bunny, thank you so much for everybody who's bought these from my shop. Obviously I've made more than the original one, but I don't mind. It takes ages to make them, but because I'm hand sewing them, but I don't mind. It's been really good support for me. Back to the box. Did you hear what I said there about the butterfly farm? Yeah, we had a butterfly farm, made it from scratch. And the schools would visit it for free, and our school visited it once. And if my brother's watching this DIY, he's going to remember this. And obviously we were a bit embarrassed at the time, because it wasn't such a cool thing, but it was amazing. We had antiques and butterflies all over our house when we were little. Yeah, I need to do a proper butterfly DIY, and I'll talk about that more. So here I just stamped out the word happy and spring with my letters. These letters are great if you don't want the words perfectly lined up, because it's just a cheap set, and the letters aren't perfectly where you think they're going to be. So when you stamp them, they're never in a straight line, but I don't mind. And then I just used, this is just an idea I've never done before, I just used a bit of ink to put around the edges of the little piece of paper with the words on, because I just thought it would make it stand out more, because the paper was going to be getting stuck onto paper. So it just added a little bit character to it, a little bit interest, made it a bit vintagey. I know you'd probably think my house is would be vintagey, because I love making vintagey things, or things that I don't know if vintagey is always the right word. Just I like to make things that look interesting. Yeah, I don't really like plain bold kind of making things like that. I like to make things where I can be really creative. So on the back of my book here, it shows you a picture of what's inside the book, but I just thought I would just cut this one out here and just and stick that on the front of the box, just because it's got the right colours, and it's got a bit of green, so that will match the moss. It's got a white flower on. I thought that would complement the flowers that's inside. So I just trimmed it out with the card, and then I just put a little bit of the ink around this. So I've just got a piece of card here, and I'm just wiping it around the edges. I just thought that just added a little touch. of interest. Interest, probably the right word. Just make it like stand out a little bit. I almost like gives it a little border instead of it looking like a really new edge, like a new cut edge. And then I just use PVA glue to stick that on to the box. So I put that on a bit of an angle, slightly. And then, whilst I was in the stamping mode, I thought I would just make a circle here with the end of the pen. I didn't know how this is going to turn out, but I think it actually looked quite cute. It looked like a little mini little postage kind of label or card or something. And then I used the other end of the pen as well, and it made a little dot in the middle. I thought that looked quite sweet. So for the next bit, I was going to put a stamp on, but I was going to put a bee on, with there being like flowers inside, but I just felt like it was just not big enough. So I'm going to go with the little swallow instead. So I'm just going to stamp him here on the bottom of the box. Just about here. Voila. So that's the front of my box decorated. I mean, that was just so much fun. I've had such a chilled out day today because I've been so busy just catching up with things. And our terrible internet, and I've been stressing a little bit about uploading extra videos each week, and I feel like I just need to put 100% into my main video, which is a Friday, which I really want to just keep going with that. And when our internet gets sorted out, it gets sorted out. There's nothing much I can do about that. If I can get 2 videos on a week ever, I promise I will. But I really don't want to kind of compromise like the quality of my videos, if you like. So that I'm really quite pleased with. Do you know, if somebody made this for me or gave me this, bought me this, I'd absolutely love it. You could just stand it in the top like that, but I think it looks quite nice. Just it opened out side by side, so the two pieces of the box separate. So I'm just going to put them here next to my lamp for my Instagram photo. Now I'm going to be giving this away. Well, I'm not giving it away. I'm going to be putting this in somebody's subscription box. I'm not sure whose yet. I'm just going to pop it in somebody's box that gets posted out at the end of the month. There's more details down below about that. So that's my cute little tiny box of spring. So I hope that's cheered you up if your weather is really, really bad. Here's our dog at the minute. She's sunbathing on the coffee table. She's going to fall off one day. So thank you so much for watching my video. Have a lovely week. And I shall see you again, for definite on Friday, if not before. So bye for now.